Hi everybody. The purpose of this video is to give you a brief introduction into MyMathLab MML. Hopefully by now you have gotten your Pearson account, or I guess you could call it your MML account, and you've either purchased a product or at least gotten temporary access, which will last for about 14 days. So, before we can figure out what this is all about, we need to figure out how to get into it. And there are two ways to do that. The first way is through your course page on Canvas. And this is the course page for Section 3 where I'm enrolled as a student. And of course, there's one that's just very similar to this for Section 1. The only difference, of course, is the little graphic here. And what you find are the 4 buttons down at the bottom of the page. And the one that we care about is the one that says Go to MML. Because if you click on that, it will take you to the sign-in page for MML. Once you're here, you can click on Sign In, and that will bring you to this particular page. Now, the other way that you can actually get to this particular point is directly by typing in portal.pearsoncmg.com, and it'll bring you to the exact same place. No matter how you get there, once you get to this point, you basically need to log in. Your username should be your Limestone email. Since I use that for my instructor account, I actually have my personal email for my student account, which is right there, and then your password. Once that happens, you are then in, and it will list all the math courses that you are taking through Pearson. Hopefully there's only one, unless you're really into math or something. And this is the one that we care about. This is the Section 3, the Tuesday, Thursday section. And I'm just going to go ahead and click on that. And when I do, it brings me to my home page. I have a calendar. I have some help. I can sign out. There are a bunch of menu options on the left, which we will talk about. And of course, then I have the list of my upcoming assignments. And if there are any announcements, which I will most likely do through MML, they will be here. And if you're late on assignments, they will be listed right here as well. And we have this calendar view. Each one of these views is an open assignment. This view right here is a sample homework I'm going to go through just to give you an idea of how it works and how you can actually enter in your answers. This is your very first homework assignment. It will cover the material that we will discuss on our first day of class, which is the 24th. And of course, then your next 2 homework assignments are actually due on the 31st because we will be covering them in this class and in this class and so forth. You have a lot of homework. The material covered in the previous class will be due the next class. It's imperative that you actually keep up with your homework. That is the primary way to succeed in this course. Okay, so what else do we have here? Oh, in terms of the calendar, you can view it by month. You can view it by day, by the week, or by 2 weeks. Okay, over here we have a lot of options. The next one here is assignments. It gives me the listing of all the assignments for the course and their due dates, all the way to the end. You can either show them all, or you can just show the first 20. You can show them by chapter. You can also show them by assignment type. And I think that's all there is for this one. All right. Next is our student gradebook. As you can see, I have a 0 in the course. That kind of stinks. That's because I haven't done anything yet. There are no homeworks, no quizzes, and no tests. The only other link here is show calculation, which basically just shows I haven't done anything yet. And there's a link down here which will take us to our study plan, which is really not something that I plan on using in this particular course at this time. So let's go back to our student gradebook. And the next one gives us access to our ebook. You can either view the ebook that mirrors the textbook. You can click on this, but this really won't take you anywhere. Which basically implies there's not yet a mobile accessible ebook. However, you can access your ebook from either your phone or your tablet, if you have one, through this app right here called Pearson Plus US eText. You can download it through the Google Play. You can also download it through the App Store. I actually have it on my iPad, and it looks pretty good. It's actually probably worth getting. And once you've downloaded it, you just sign in with your Pearson ID and your password, and you are in. As far as this is concerned, we can click on chapters. We can click on, you can use this to define the chapter or section you want. Our course will be starting with section 1.1. You can come over here and then view the e-text. And there it is. As you can see, there are a number of contents. It has a table of contents. You can navigate. You can search. You can actually use a notebook to highlight stuff or put in extra notes. You can make flashcards, and you can also change the size of the text. And if you want to, again, if you want to click sections, you can also just use this table of contents and go from section to section if you so desire. Back to the main menu. Okay, so you've done e-context, you've done study. We don't need to look at study plan. There's also video and resource library, which gives you a number of tools. Let's look at basically the first chapter, the first section. Look at all the media they have. They have animations for solving problems. They have PowerPoint slides for a lecture, number of video examples, direct access to the textbook, and of course there's also one lecture that will go that briefly goes over all of the material in this particular section. Now they got that down to 12 minutes. I'll never know. It's taken me, based on what I've been doing, it's taken me at least 50 minutes to do everything that I want to do. Okay, back to the main menu. This thing gives you access to accessible resources, accessible PowerPoint slides. If that's of value to you, if you wanted to, you can actually purchase a hard copy of the book for the low price of $49.99. What else do we have? And of course, we have communication tools, which gives you one of many means to email me. We can actually have discussions, which we may or may not be using throughout this course. Okay. So that kind of gives you an idea of what's going on here, but we want to come back to our main menu and look at our course home, and look, I have an assignment that's due tomorrow. So I need to get off my butt and get this sucker done before it's too late. So what I can do is I can come over here and I can click on that open button. And then I can click on it again. And this is my homework assignment. Now notice it has the name, it has the date that's due, my current score, and so forth. And a little help here. Now, to get into your homework, what you want to do is you want to access a question. And maybe we should start, well, I know it's kind of weird for people to do this, but hey, why don't we just start at the beginning? There we go. Question 1. Okay, in this question, and this is the question, it says, decide whether the statement is true or false. If false, say why. And this is obviously a multiple choice question. One of these is the correct answer. So if you want to do this randomly, you have a 1 in 4 chance of getting it correct. In the fraction 3/8, 3 is the numerator and 8 is the denominator. Now, I think that's true. I'm pretty sure that's true. But what would happen if I just decided to say that it was false? Well, I can check my answer, and it tells me that I am wrong. And it tells me that the number on top is the numerator, and then the number on the bottom is the denominator. So it kind of gives me a hint as how to correctly answer this. All right, so I'm going to actually listen to what they say, and I'm going to click B because apparently this is true. I'm going to check, and I'm right. See, it says nice work. Next question, so I can move on to the next question. Okay, now this one, it asks the question, what is the correct way to write 24 over 40ths in lowest terms? And remember, lowest terms, the fraction is in lowest terms if their greatest common factor happens to be 1. So 24 has factors of 3 and 8, and 40 has factors of 5 and 8. So I bet you if you divide 24 by 8 and 40 by 8, we'll actually have it in lowest terms. Well, notice here that we have this little down arrow. We click on this down arrow and we actually have options. So we could choose this option here. where we separate 24 into 12 plus 12 and 40 into 12 plus 28, and then we just basically make the 12 plus 12s go away. So let's do that. Let's check our answer. Apparently that was wrong because we don't separate out fractions by addition, we separate out fractions by multiplication. So let's look at this again. All right. Well, here we have 24 is equal to 8 times 3. And here we have 40 is equal to 8 times 5. And here we can factor out the 8s, which gives us 3/5. Okay, that makes sense. Now we could do this one, but notice that 6/10 still has a common factor, which would be 2. So maybe I think this one's going to be the correct answer. And lo and behold, I am correct. I know you're all shocked. Okay, so we can move on to the next question. And this question, we actually have to write a fraction in lowest terms. Okay, so the answer here is going to be a fraction. Actually, the answer is going to be a half because I believe that 4/8 is equal to a half. And then 1/2 would be the same fraction in lowest terms. Now, there's two ways that you can actually write this out. One way is to click on this, and then you have a little fraction button down here. You can click on that fraction button, and then you can put the appropriate values in, which would be 1 in the numerator and a 2 in the denominator, and then check your answer. Lo and behold, it works. Okay, awesome. Well, this is the exact same type of problem, except obviously the numbers are different. So we want to do 18/21 in lowest terms. Now notice that 3 is a common factor for all of these, so the answer should be 6/7. So what we can do, we can come over here and click on this. And now if we wanted to, we could use this. But notice what it says down here where it says fraction equals slash. So the slash is actually a keyboard shortcut that we can use. So I could type in 6, followed by a slash, and then a 7. And you'll notice how the slash gave us the fraction format, followed by a 7. And there you are. And I like the keyboard shortcuts because they seem to be more efficient than using these. Let me see if I'm right. Lo and behold, I am right. I am shocked. Okay, but I'm on a roll. Okay, let's move on. Okay, now, here we want to write the improper fraction as a mixed number in simplest form. What we can do is we can click on that, and this basically is the template for a mixed number. So I'm going to click on that. Now, 11/5 is basically 10/5 plus 1/5. 10/5 is 2. And then 1/5 is, well, that's 1/5. 1, 5. And then I can check my answer. And that's how that works. Now for this homework, for this problem, we want to simplify the expression b to the 5th times b to the 6th times b. And there are two ways you can do this. One is to type in b, and then click on this one to give us our exponent. And of course, this would be 5 plus 6, which is 11, plus 1, which would be 12, should be b to the 12th. The other way to do this is as follows. Type in b, hit the hat symbol, which is a symbol above the 6, and that gives us a little exponent there, and then type in the exponent, which should be 12. And then you can check your answer. Nice work. And now we can move on. Okay. Use the product rule to simplify this. Now remember we can multiply the variables together, the letters together, and then we can multiply the coefficients together. Now negative 7 times 8 is negative 56. And then we can do x, and then we have x to the 3rd times x squared, which would be x to the 5th. So I can use this button down here instead of the caret symbol or the hat symbol, and then I can type in 5, and that should be correct. Wow, I'm not screwing up. Yay me. Okay, now the next types of questions you might encounter are kind of what we might call multiple choice questions with a twist. We have multiple choice, but we still got to fill something in. In this one, we are asked to identify the expression as a polynomial or not a polynomial. For a polynomial, give the degree and identify it as a monomial, a trinomial, or none of these. Now remember, a monomial has one term, A binomial has 2 terms, a trinomial has 3 terms, and this is a polynomial. It's in the form of a polynomial, and it has 1, 2, 3 terms. So this is a trinomial, which will be A. What is the degree? Well, the degree is the highest exponent associated with the variable. Here we have a z to the third. Here we have a z to the fifth. So this is obviously 5 is higher than 3, so this should be degree 5. Let me just type in 5. Check to see if we're right, and we are correct. And we can move on to the next question. And this one is a matching question. And what we need to do is we need to match each of these blocks to the appropriate row in column 2. Now let's take a look at this one. This is x squared plus 14xy plus 49y squared. That looks like x plus 7y, the entire quantity squared, because 7y squared is that, and then you multiply these two together, and then by 2, you get the middle term, and so forth. So what we can do is we can take this, we can drag this over here until the desired box, which is the first one, highlights, and then we can just let go, and it'll fit right in. All right. Well, since this is a negative, we know that we know that this term right here will produce that. So I can take that, I can drag it down until the box highlights, and then let go. And now this one is the difference of 2 squares, which is basically, you can look at this as a squared minus b squared, and that would be equal to a plus b times a minus b. So this is the one that it should be. So we can go ahead and I can drag this down until that box highlights and let goes, and then I can do the exact same thing for this one. Once it highlights, I can let go, and there we go. Now if I want, I can actually do it incorrectly, which I want to do for just very briefly. There we go. All right, let's put this down, and I can now check my answer. And I am wrong. And notice it gives me hints as to what I can do to do it right. I can click OK. If I need, I can click on Get More Help. I can get the textbook. I can ask my instructor. Sometimes there is a little more guidance here. I'm surprised there's not much more. And then I can actually make the corrections so it's actually done correctly. Make the correction so it's actually done right. Now I can check it, and now it is correct. Good job. And I believe that I am done with my homework. Now, one of the things is, like, the question here is, what do I do? And the problem here is that you can't see the entire slide. What you might need to do is just make it a little bigger. Either that, or you can always zoom in a little bit and find the save button. You need to click this save button. So click the save button, and if you don't, and remember, if you don't see it, just make your window make your window wide, or you can actually use this right here to get to it. Click save, and then all of your homework will update, and the window will go away, and you are done. Well, you're almost done. What you need to do now is essentially click OK, and boom, now you are done. Changes here made will affect your score. Good results to practice without affecting your score. So you can do that if you would like. But now I think it's time for us to check out my gradebook. And there it is. I am now acing the course because I successfully completed my first homework assignment. Now please keep in mind that your homework that you need to keep up with your homeworks. If you are late, the homework will not count. So you need to keep up with, so you need to stay on top of your assignments. I'm going to go back to my course home, and now you'll notice, let me get back to the month. Now you'll notice that my homework assignment now has a check because it is now completed. However, all the circles here show homeworks that I still have yet to do, including the very first homework for this course, which will be due on Thursday, August 25th, before the start of that class. So that, in a nutshell, is MML. As always, if you have any questions, please feel free to visit me during office hours or via email or text. I'll be happy to help you in any way that I can. And this is Bob Boyle, signing off.